but not of it, because you are conscious, and when you're conscious, you be like, I rebuke you, Satan. Like the Christians say, devil, get behind the resist the devil, he'll flee from you. So the devil's word won't have no effect on you. You know, I can walk down the street, down areas, girls, skin tight pants, and this, that, and the other. And if I was mentally dead, I was still ace, that would have a power over me. But now it's like, I feel sorry for my sister.
Yeah.
You know I feel sorry for my brother.
You gotta look at them like that, yeah.
It just shows me how important it is to us to do what we're doing. You know what I mean? Because we can't get all of them, but at least, but our people, like, and it's interesting you say that, because just last night, I just made a flyer last night based on empire. And what I did, I put the importance of images, and I explained when I was coming, I'm 50, I mean, but when I was coming up, I put up the poster of who the men wanted to be. You either wanted to be Shaq, I mean, the cool gangster, or you wanted to be Superfly. I mean, the girls wanted to be Coffee, the powerful, conscious Afro, dashiki wearing, kill a white man, or the prostitute type girl in the movies. You know what I mean? And they started injecting other things into it, where I went down the Avenue movies for $1 and went in and seen Bruce Lee for the first time in my life. I came out the movies Chinese.
Nah, Bruce Lee got some real science behind him.
And he definitely has, but the attracting power. He learned from Muhammad Ali.
That's right.
All of them. I mean, so he had that balance, but the thing is, the culture in North Philadelphia, as a child growing up, that was a black-owned, black-operated area. You know what I mean? But I noticed that I started seeing Chinese stands popping up. They literally were selling Chinese shoes on the corner. They selling the Playboy charms and mood rings and all the little ghetto novels and all that on the stand. And I didn't peep it at first, but as time went on, I seen they start having little stores in the hood. Like this black-owned store now, Chinese owned. They got robbed a few times, then they put bulletproof glass all up in the joint.
Wow.
I mean, that's thing, now when I go down there, all this stuff owned by Asians. I love my Asian brothers and sisters, but it just shows the power of images. And sad to say, our little brothers and sisters and children and nieces and nephews, they also is watching Empire. Not thinking of building a black empire, but thinking that we should build an empire based on white empire. Instead of building an African or black or a conscious or righteous empire, we like, okay, when we get money, we want to do everything they doing. No.
But you know what, too?
That's a dying civilization.
But you know what, too, was interesting that you said that the Asians and the Chinese come and they set up their shops in black communities. Okay, but who's to blame for that? Are we to blame for that, or are they to blame for that? We don't have to support them. They don't support us. If we don't support them, if we don't spend our dollars, whatever it's worth, with them, then they will not be successful. So who's to blame?
Like I tell you, like Jesus told his disciples when they asked him, he said, the parents gave birth to the blind baby. I mean, who's to blame? The blind man or the parents? He's like neither one.
Right.
I mean, but it's a lesson here for us to learn. Meaning that China in the 80s, people forget, was poor as heck. They didn't have food. They was leaving babies under trees. The government was like, you can't have more than 1.5 children.
Yeah.
We're too poor.
Right.
Hong Kong changed that system to a capitalist system. And when they did that and made so much money, China said, oh, we with Chairman Mao and all that, the Red Book, and we supporting Russia and all. However, let's get this paper. America, y'all need to become a democracy and a capitalist. They was like, all right, we going to do that. And they had what they call a free market. If you wanted to open a restaurant, you didn't need no license. You just open a restaurant. If your car bumped into my car, we don't go to court. The cop come and solve the issue right there on who gonna pay who, this, that, and the other. And once they got into economics, they told America, y'all can build your cars over here. However, you have to hire our people, and after 2 years, you gotta let us go ahead and reverse engineer this, and they started basically copycatting all American products. You know what I mean? the messenger talked about the Chinese then message to the black man in 1965. He said, study the Chinese. I mean, he said they work together in a collective manner. We just work down Asia market in Philadelphia. We just built stages down there and all that stuff and did the light and the sounds with New Millennium with Rashid Allah and them. One of the things they took and walked us around and showed us, this is what we doing. We own the Asian thing. We own our own schools. And you see all the cops, notice there is no black or white cops. They're all Chinese that out there. I mean, so what they do, they got two pillars. The Chinese writing all I was like, what that say? I don't read Chinese. He's like, basically, we're saying, welcome to Asia. I mean, this is Asia. We're basically saying, when you come here, if you go to California, if you go to New York, you go to New Jersey, you go anywhere in this country, China is there. I mean, we're not talking about building a nation in a nation. We have a nation in a nation.
Right.
The difference politically is we know our language, we know our gods, our culture, our flag, our land.
Right.
I mean, we identify with that. And I'm looking at how they setting up that thing. You know what I mean? And this is why the land told, he said, take a page, meaning capitalism is a corrupt, evil system. It's a dog-eat-dog system. And
a dog-eat-dog system.
Have to be tough enough to understand. White folks understand how to play like they righteous.
Right.
And play the good game. And we get so holier than thou and so religious, organized religious in our way of thinking, we're not willing to make it happen.
Right.
So it's a thing where if Chinese people, for example, is opening up and setting up in our community, the community is common unity. I mean, inside your community.
Right.
So it's a thing like you're not going to let South Philly set up shop in North Philly. You're not going to let the Queens take over the Bronx. You're not going to let Brooklyn come over and set up shit. Now, I mean, you wouldn't do that in the underworld, the above world, the side world, or whatever, but we tolerate that economically, unfortunately, because so many things hit our people. So many things hit our community. We had, like in Philadelphia, you had the so-called black mafia. But the thing about it, this is what the Caucasians said. They said they took over $1 billion heroin operation from the Italians. They took over $1 billion. It's like
they took over a what?
In the 1970s in Philadelphia, Ronald Harvey and all them, these is people that we personally know.
Really?
Their operation was $1 billion operation. They just did a special
on what?
On the underground, like the Italian mafia that had businesses and all that. Like me, I grew up down on Hazard Street, 1500 block of Hazard Street in Philadelphia. As a child growing up, when you go down Broad Street, for example, the supermarket was black-owned, black. It was your supermarket.
Right.
H. Islam supermarket.
Right.
The bakery, I get my hair cut at Brother James. The clothing store was owned by the nation.
We held it down.
The steak and taste. The gas station was owned by the brothers. You know, and it's like systematically, you walk through the same community, you see all that's gone. Like you're talking about Temple and Jefferson and all those, it's taking over the cities. Even the pool hall where we used to play pool at, Temple took over the pool hall. You know what I mean? So it's a thing where, my thing is, if y'all was really gangster,
you ain't never lied.
It's like, y'all be like, you know, now the interesting thing is, look at Little Italy. You go in South Philly, you're not going to see the Jews come up there and set up shop. You're not going to see, you go to Chinatown, ain't no steak and takes or ain't no Italian pizzerias in Chinatown. You see what I'm saying?
That's right.
They don't play that.
Right.
Any creature, whether it's in the water, now I mean, if you're a goldfish, if you're a silver trout, you'd be like, some of our leaders are saying we should let the piranha come in our school. You'd be like, you let one piranha in here, we annihilate it.
Right.
So what we're going to do is not fight these piranhas, we're going to fight you.
Right.
Because you're foolish enough to let the piranha in here and jeopardize our people.
That's why you gotta screen that's why you have to screen the team members that you know, if you want to form a team, you gotta screen them. You gotta know who they are, where they come from, and where their background is. Because it's like, listen, if you allow somebody to come in this circle, we're gonna accept this person. But if this person mess up, it's on you because you introduced them to our team. And if you mess up what we got going here, that's your ass. That's your ass.
And look at John Gotti and them. Look at Sammy the Bull. Sammy the Bull's like, I put work in.
Right.
So for the team, you be like, that don't mean a dude won't rap.
Right.
That don't mean a dude won't run out on you. Right. See what I'm saying? Fear is a universal understanding. When there are consequences for your actions and inactions, what you're doing is you're maintaining your ma'at or your boundary.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Meaning that your thing is on the tip like I militarily used to be a captain of the FY before I became minister, and I was in the security and all that.
Right.
One of the things in the security training we explain to people is, listen, the word security itself means secret. It doesn't exist. Anyone could be got. I mean, everything is relative. You have to deal with reality, as the Bible says in Matthew chapter 24. Brother betrayed brother, father betrayed son, mother betrayed daughter. That's just the reality of human nature.
That's right.
You put them in the right circumstances, and self is manifested to self. You know what I mean? So you may be like, oh, dude, he's there. He was hustling out. He was doing this. He was in penitentiary. It don't mean nothing.
That's right.
I done seen gangsters. Now I mean, snitch, run, they snitch down. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They snitch down. You know what I mean? You know, that's just the reality of. So when you understand human nature, you dealing with reality. We can be up here vibrating on the seventh dimension. We got the physical, the emotional, the mental, the spiritual, the soul, the self, and the will. We got 9 forces balanced out, equilibrium, attraction, repulsion, cohesion, simulation, stimulation, creation, projection, reception, and intuition.
That's right.
All those
Break it down, brother. Break it down.
But that does not mean that if the enemy gets you and inject you with some chemicals, hit you up with some LSD, you're not going to spill a bean.
Right.
Not that under normal circumstances you would. It's not that you're not a stand-up dude, but like the white boys and the Turner guys.
But you have been genetically modified, basically.
And that's my point. Like, anyone, you have to accept the fact that this is just not a time to trust. Right. So if you got a team, you want to be on a need to know basis. Right. Everything is not for everybody.
That's right.
The right hand can't know what the left hand is doing.
That's
you
right.
know what I'm saying? So you have to be on the tip like, I trust this brother more than I trust this other brother. But I trust this other brother more than I trust my biological brother.
Right.
I trust my biological brother more than I trust my next door neighbor. So you give your love, not that you fall in love, but you rise up to it. Right. Now, I mean, it's an elevation or a degree that you're giving them, and the person earns that. And it's been my experience, person, that when I move like that in the past 40 years, for example, I mean, none of my friends ever betrayed me. I've never betrayed any of my friends because we keep our circles small. You know what I'm saying? We understand our strengths and we understand our weaknesses. Right. You know what I mean? So we like, oh, brother so-and-so, thorough in the mud. But you know how he is with money. You know what I mean?
Right.
So-and-so, thorough dude. But you know how he is with the girls. So-and-so, crack. You know how he get around that liquor.
Yeah.
So-and-so with his weed. So-and-so, he vegetarian and all that. But you know how he is with candy. You know, so you know your brother. You know yourself. And you got to set the reality of yourself. You got to know your strengths and your weaknesses. Where you good at. That's why I say, like, even real estate. I'm not going to pretend to know real estate.